We'll go ahead and call the meeting to order. Special meeting Thursday, December 9th here at City Hall. The second order of the agenda after call to order is the presentation by the Cailloux Foundation regarding the gift of land to the city of Kerrville, the former Peterson Hospital site, the 700 block of Water Street. Ben, if you were going to do that.
Thank you all. Ben Modisette, the Assistant Executive Director for the Cailloux Foundation. The Cailloux Foundation is proposing a gift to the city of a piece of land located on the southeast corner of Main Street and Sidney Baker. That would be the property that has the Welcome Kerrville sign on it, and used to be where the emergency room and the Guy Griggs was. Also, and it would be for the construction of a new city hall. We would also make available the parking garage to the city and to the public for use downtown. Also, we have two areas downtown that could also be utilized by the city, and it's extra square footage. One in the garage, which is now the cardiac center. Their lease is ending soon. The other is on Clay Street. That's another 7,000 square feet of usable space for the city. The Cailloux Foundation will be responsible for the renovation of the crosswalk and the construction of an adjoined clock tower, which we will be doing. The Cailloux Foundation will also be responsible for designing and implementing the common grounds that are left from that donation, the remaining areas of the old hospital property. Some of the drawings that y'all have been presented with show the common areas with a green space and path that go from Main Street to Water Street, and then also a parking lot just to the south of the proposed City Hall. That City Hall is the drawing is just to show you how it could be positioned on the property and to allow for that space that y'all need in the new City Hall. The estimated value of this donation to the city and the community overall would roughly be $4.3 million. And that is our proposed gift to the city and the community. Any questions?
Ben, thank you. And thanks to the Cailloux Foundation very much for the offer of the gift. And I'd like one question that comes to mind in terms of the green space and the design. What is your vision for how that space would be used and administered or operated? In other words, I mean, if it would continue to be owned by the Cailloux Foundation.
Correct.
And so, from a use standpoint, what's your vision for that?
You're talking about it would just be a public use.
Okay,
for the,
and so
for the space.
That's what I'm saying, because we understand what a park is. We understand that from a park, it's a public space. People can use it subject to certain restrictions that the city may impose from a schedule or timing or whatever. I'm wondering what your vision would be for the use of that public space if you all continue to own it.
Our vision is for it to remain public, in that the public would be able to use it in any way. I believe some of the drawings you have shows it, like with the possibility of a market days being there, with the tents and different things like that. The ability to use it for festivals or any kind of downtown functions. I know that there's been talk about the 4th of July. There's a possibility of using it for that type of event as well. When we're talking about civic and community events, it'll be open for those type of things.
Okay. And when it's not reserved for a particular event, it would be available for people to use, to read a book or eat their lunch or
Correct.
To access basically 24/7 on a...
Yes. I believe there is intent to put some benches and things of that nature down there, so there would be a place for people to congregate, sit, talk, read, things of that nature.
Okay. Anybody have any other questions? Any questions at all?
No, I want to say that I appreciate the Cailloux Foundation and what they're doing and their vision, their support of the city and the things that go on here. we certainly need to look at this and see what the options are, what we can do, and work with the foundation as best that we can.
Ben, does the Cailloux Foundation have a timeline in mind in terms of, is this gift contingent on a specific date in terms of completion or getting started on a project? Can we talk about that a little bit?
That is something that we're open to.
Okay.
Sooner than later, but no definites.
Okay.
We would prefer that a project like this, if approved, would move forward in a timely manner, and we're still not talking about it 5 years down the road.
Okay. All right.
The only constraint, of course, obviously, well, I say only, one of the constraints that we have is timing on funds and that kind of thing. We, in the today's market, we don't need to be creating a huge problem down the road, and we need to look at that carefully to see what funds are available and how we can do that.
It sure is hard to give stuff away, isn't it?
Sure is.
I've been quiet because it's a very stunning, marvelous offer. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Well, along those lines too, and I appreciate it very much. I appreciate the gift, but I want to basically highlight questions that folks here or in the future may have. I mean, there's going to be some talk, obviously, in the community, and I think we owe it to all of those who would like to ask questions and to raise questions. But having said that, $4.3 million gift, that's $4.3 million that the city of Kerrville over the future can spend on other projects, other infrastructure. Whether we like it or not, or how you may be philosophically predisposed about local government or about the use of funds, this city hall is becoming more and more inadequate on lots of levels as a place to do the city's business. We are going to be faced as a community at some point with either building a new city hall elsewhere or taking a huge investment in renovating this facility. We have operations spread throughout the city that hopefully some of which could be more centrally located in one home for the people's business. And so at some point we're going to have to make that investment, and this gift helps alleviate a tremendous portion of the cost associated with that investment. And it allows us to take that $4.3 million and put it into streets and other infrastructure that are desperately needed here. So, my questions are not in any way meant to be pointed to you or to the Cailloux Foundation or in any way critical about the gift. It's more in terms of opening up questions or giving people some things to think about and letting us know what we're thinking. I think that this provides an immediate anchor to downtown. It provides a couple of hundred people down there a day, both city staff and people that are doing business with the city that are going to be downtown using the facility. And hopefully by virtue of using that facility will also be patronizing the retailers and the restaurants and what other future development may occur downtown. Eventually, I know there's been some criticism or some talk about taxes and putting the property back on the tax rolls. Well, if we proceed and this venture comes to fruition, then this property goes back on the tax rolls. And the high traffic count, this is probably a pretty valuable piece of property for future development. So I can't imagine at this point how this isn't a win-win both for the citizens of Kerrville, and really want to thank you for your gift. And thank you, Sandy and Ken, and look forward to working with you. Obviously, we're going to need to vote, and I don't know what the pleasure of the council is. If we want to vote on this now, go into executive session to discuss it and come out. We do. Okay. Before we do that, I know Linda Rector has asked to speak on this, and certainly anybody else who would like to ask questions or comment is welcome to do so. Thanks, Ben.
Linda Rector, 705 Water Street. Actually, Mayor Wampler took away a lot of the things that I was going to say, but I would just like to reinforce many of the comments that he made. I think it's a win-win situation for everyone, very much so for the city. It will solidify downtown, not only in bringing traffic into the area, but also from the energy that our city government will be there. close proximity to the county, which may help with some of the relationships. But after being a long-term downtown advocate, when Bill and I first bought our buildings down there, and at the time that I was down there and windows were falling out of second-story buildings and things were falling apart, we definitely, I'm an advocate for the downtown. I was born and raised here. I love downtown from the time that I was able to toddle down the street. And I just feel like it's a central part. It is the heart of your community. And it says a lot about the character and the commitment of the community. And I just think that this is a win-win situation. It definitely will solidify the government, our city government, bring everyone in, and has to make everything move more efficiently. And I appreciate your positive consideration on this.
Thanks, Linda. Is there anyone else here that would like to speak? Have any comments or questions? Ed? Ed, if you don't mind, if you just state who you are and for the record.
My name's Ed Hamilton, and I live at 1316 Warbler, and I own One Shriner Center downtown. I think this is a wonderful opportunity for us to do some things we've been needing to do for a long time. I'll remind you we have 6 studies, starting with the goals for the 90s, that said City Hall should be relocated downtown. That's not just someone's pipe dream. I'd urge you not to have another study. I think we've had 6, and I'm studied out. This building is going to be an embarrassment to us if we stay here in City Hall. If you know, this building didn't cost us anything. LCRA gave it to us at that time. And I reinforce your words that it is a very sellable commercial facility. And I support it, and I'll do whatever I can to make it happen. Thank you.
Thanks, Ed. Is there anyone else who would like to speak? Okay. I know Scott's indicated that he'd like to go into executive session to discuss this. Is there anything else that anybody would like to say from the staff or council standpoint before we do that? Before we do that, I'd like to say again, thank you all very much for the offer, the gift. I think for all the reasons that have been discussed so far in this brief meeting, I support it and feel very strongly that it would be a positive for Kerrville and for downtown. And having said that, I'd like to go into executive session if there's a motion.
I so move.
Okay. Let's go ahead. We'll go into executive session under 551-072 and 073. And Mike, was there another one?
If you want advice from the attorney.
Okay. And 071. Okay. Having said that, is there a second to that?
I'll second that.
Second by Mr. Gross. All those in favor? Okay. We'll go into executive session here at 11:14.